Today, Valve has fixed a problem in TF2 that I've actually talked about before, and I made a whole video on it that was not very long. And this video, I think it was called like current TF2's biggest problem or whatever. This was post-bot crisis, so if it was any time before that, I would obviously be talking about that. But what this video basically went over was how free-to-play players on TF2 were muted. And this has actually been the case since about the start of the decade at this point, like 2020 at some point. It's been a whole 5 years. And this was a very stupid decision by Valve. They were going out to fix a problem with bots spamming bad things in chat, which did not actually fix this problem since they just bought accounts that were extremely cheap and continued their spam. And this update brought in a whole new problem that should have been obvious to Valve of muting every new player that the game gets and making a paywall to text chat, which is just like such a basic feature that it's even insane they thought that was a good idea. But, you know, Valve doesn't really give a fuck about TF2 anymore, so I can't be too surprised. Now this random hindrance has been taken off the game and new players can rejoice. I've actually had the displeasure of playing on a muted account before when I was away from home once and I just made a whole new Steam. Not really a relevant story, but I went back on there for the first time in months today, and unfortunately I'm still muted, mostly because I don't have a verified phone number, because I do know that I do have a verified email, so that basically just confirms to me and to anyone else that you need an email and a phone number, not just an email. And I tried playing a game today just to see if that would maybe like get it into effect. Unfortunately didn't work. Tried to call for a medic halfway through, and goddamn, I do not miss playing on that account, because not having any form of communication is just awful. It's not fun. What else can I say? My medic literally watched me burn to death. It was funny too, because I was seeing people in chat talking about the free-to-play on mute, and I was like, hey, I can't talk. Obviously I couldn't communicate that because I don't have to like fucking add the person or something, and I'm really not doing all that. Waste of my time. No offense, random person I guess, but as I said, I played through a whole game. Sucked. And yeah, that's still the experience for some people, but it won't be the experience for all anymore, which is a good first step. I expect to see player retention rise, even if it's just a little bit, because I just mentioned not everyone is completely unmuted, but this should get a couple more people to stick around, as on my first video talking about this topic, when people were still muted, I saw actually a couple people in the comments basically saying that this was ruining their experience and not making them want to play the game. So, for anyone who is still muted, by the way, you could just go onto a community server. It's just casual that free-to-plays are muted on. I believe competitive sort of just lets you talk whenever you want. Anyway, this wasn't really meant to be a long video, just discuss the happening that I found important. I really hope that Valve lowers the restrictions even further, because I really don't think the safeguard of having a phone number linked to an account is going to matter much, especially with how easily bots have already been shown to bypass stuff like this. There's really no point in having any requirements. There's also, of course, like every other thing that happens ever, some naysayers saying, oh, it's just going to let toxic people in, or people are just going to say slurs and shit. Which, yeah, that will happen, but to say that the update's just letting that happen and is vastly generalizing new players, which is a large group of people. Like, you could say that some people are going to be annoying 8-year-olds, which someone actually made that argument to me, that they're not worth your time to hear, which I think that's very dumb and just very reductionist. You know, you could let people talk, and if they're really that bad, you can mute them. This is a non-issue, and for anyone who's complaining about this, I really just don't understand your viewpoint, I guess. But anyway, I'd rather keep this video light, not get into this any further, because what's really the point? It's already happened. And I would just like to say, even though I am still technically on hiatus now, I just had a little bit of time today to make this video, so I thought I'd push it out. And I'll be back fully to normal by next week. I'll probably be doing some streams on Ultra Kill, or whatever the fuck I decide on. But anyway, with all that out of the way, I hope you're as happy for this news as I am, because I think this is a good ass update, and probably the best one since the bot crisis was ended.